us, and thank you for. Okay, so we are going to start. Okay, sorry about the hitch in the network. Yeah, my name is Ketra Venesa. I'm the National Member Officer for SCOPE, Uganda. And today we are here to explore the Pearl of Africa, find out the interesting things about Uganda, find out the different opportunities, and yeah, the best place you can do an exchange from apparently is Uganda. So you're here to see how beautiful and amazing Uganda is, and also to find out the amazing experience of one of our exchange students who came from Belgium to do an exchange program. It's called Amber. We shall hear from her in a few minutes from now. Hope everyone is fine. We are all doing okay wherever we are, and we are ready for this exciting session that is starting.
Hello, Amber, can you hear us?
Amber.
Do I need to share now? Because I didn't hear it well.
Oh, yes, she's introduced you as our exchange student to Uganda from Belgium. So thank you for
thank you.
Yeah, and you can now share your presentation.
Okay, I will. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hello everybody. I went to Uganda in September and October the year 22. Not reacting. Wait a second. Yes. My name is Amber, and why did I go for an exchange? There are multiple reasons why I went. One important reason is, since I was a child, I have been fascinated by other cultures, their lifestyles and their living conditions. And my interest in the African culture, in particular the health sector, is partly due to the story of my father. He regularly went to Tanzania with the Brothers of Charity to help there. His stories have always kept me motivated to get acquainted with the African culture. I was looking forward to the cultural differences that I would experience during my internship in Uganda. I also wanted to go to get to know the local population. And then another important reason why I want to go is improving as a medical expert in another healthcare center with other or less resources than I am used to in our hospital setting. And the third reason is that I like to get to know new people, and that is also what happened already on the first morning being in Uganda. Here you see Karen and me. Karen is a friend of mine with whom I decided to go for an exchange. And the first morning we went for breakfast in the middle of the city in Kampala, and we already made some new friends. You can see here, Kian, the boy in the middle, is from Germany, and Alexander, the boy on the right, is also from Belgium. And since the moment we met the two guys, we stayed with four of us together for the rest of the 2 months. So it was really nice. They became really good friends. And then on our first day, we also got to know Derek. Derek was our student buddy. It was really nice to have him as a student buddy. As you can see, he guided us through a part of Kampala and showed us the Mulago Hospital. So the Mulago Hospital is the place we had to start our internship the next day. And we saw Derek regularly the following weeks. So it was really nice to have him because he guided us and we could ask him questions if necessary. And not only him, but also a lot of other local students I got to know in Uganda, and I'm happy I made some new friends back there. How is a day as an exchange student in Uganda? Here you can see the road we had to walk to the Mulago hospital, so it was a bit hard to walk. And this is a picture of us on our first day of internship in front of the Mulago hospital. We were very excited of what the day would bring us. You can see me, the second of the right. The first 2 weeks of my internship in Uganda, I was on the ward internal medicine and more specific pulmonology. Those 2 weeks, I was the only student on the ward, and it was really nice for me because I learned a lot and I could do everything what the doctors told me to do. I was lucky because almost every patient could talk English, so that was really helpful for me. So I asked every day how they were doing, what their complaints were of that day. I examined every patient and wrote it all down in their files. And when the ward round was done, I briefed every patient to my supervisor, and then we did some investigations if necessary, but mostly it was not necessary. Or and if this was done, after that I might go home. So most of the time this was around, in Kampala it was around 2 p.m. In Kayunga, I also went and went to Kayunga, it was a bit longer. For me it was really early 2 p.m. because in Belgium I never ended my internship at that hour, but I enjoyed it because in the afternoon I could explore Kampala with my friends. That is also what we did. Someone from our stay named Emmanuel wanted to show us a big market of Kampala. And on the way to the market, we had to go through the slums. You can see here us walking by. And then, oh, sorry. And then eventually we got to the market and we arrived there and we bought a lot of fresh fruits. It was so nice being at such a big market of fruits, and the pineapples I ate in Uganda were so tasty. They never tasted the same anymore when I went back to Belgium because it was so good in Uganda. The fruit was really, really, really nice. And we went a lot of times back ourselves because we really liked it. And as you can see here, this is the view from our stay. So we had a part that we could see of the city of Kampala. And we also looked at children playing football. And after some time, we thought maybe we can join them. And here you can see us playing football together. I really liked that moment because it was the first time I talked to local people and not only in the hospital, so outside the hospital, I mean. So it was really nice to get along with them. What were my favorite memories? There are too many to describe, so there are very, it was very nice to be in Uganda. But my favorite ones were to get to know the African culture and the local population, to improve as a medical expert in another healthcare system, because I learned a lot of things I didn't or wouldn't see in Belgium. I like to get to know the new people, to make some new friends. And I also was surprised about the hospitality and kindness of most people in Uganda, and I really liked that. And my most favorite memories were made in the 9-day trip, because Uganda is such a beautiful country, and we saw a lot of beautiful nature. I really, really enjoyed it. And we did, at the 9-day trip, also a Boda Boda tour, and I also liked it. To go fast and to see a lot of things and to drive it myself. It was really nice. But there were also some difficult experience, especially the belly problems. 2 months long, I had some belly problems, but eventually I got used to it, so it was not a big problem. But seeing people suffer and seeing people die, that was very difficult for me. But yeah, it is part of an internship in Uganda, I think, but also in other hospitals or other countries. And also going on exchange is not always easy because it takes a lot of time to prepare and to plan. But for me, it was worth it. So it's not that difficult. It's just, okay, it is difficult, but it's worth it. Let me say that. Then, if I compare the health system of Belgium and Uganda, and you can see that the main causes of that there are big differences in that. Like in Belgium, you have cancer, cardiovascular disease, and dementia, but in Uganda, you have more malaria, AIDS, tuberculosis, and respiratory diseases. So I learned a lot about diseases and their treatment. They are not very common in my country, so it was really nice to learn that things. And what are also big differences in Uganda, patients come a long way to get medical service. Instead in Belgium, it's not that. You have a lot of hospitals in Belgium, and you just go to the closest hospital. In Uganda, more patients are in one room. Belgium, you have 1 or 2 patients in the room, so it was really surprising for me how many patients are in one room. The ward rounds are sometimes very crowded. I said sometimes because, like I said, my first 2 weeks I was the only student on the ward round, but after that, even I sit even with 20 students on a ward round. Thus, it depends on which ward you are. And then also big difference is that the patient records are not digitalized in Uganda, but yeah, I'm just used to it in Belgium, so it's not. Yeah, and then patients don't often ask questions. That's also what patients in Belgium do a lot. Okay, and what can both countries learn from each other? Like I already said, treatment and management of some diseases, I learned a lot about it in Uganda, especially infectious diseases. And what I also learned in Uganda was clinical reasoning. I did it more in Uganda than I did in Belgium. Because in Belgium we look very fast to imaging, and that's why I liked that in Uganda you had to look at the clinic and to the patients only, because most of patients cannot afford imaging. And then Uganda can learn from Belgium the hygiene, organization, and the electronic medical system. But yeah, that's not for now, I think, the electronic medical system. Okay, and then I want to show you a part of the video one of us made, an after movie, to show you how my experience in Uganda was. First, you're gonna see some impressions from Kampala. Oh, sorry.
Jiggy, no. Oh no.
So as you can see, we also went to a dance one evening, and it was really nice.
I on my tento. I don't tell you tired. Make we do like extra cool. Oh, we go back to the time when this love is better. You know I love you, but I'm always on that.
This is the big market we all went to, or went multiple times to.
You put me in the mood, and I know you want that too. And I gotta show that for you, my me.
Okay, and then I'm gonna look a bit further. As I said before, we did a Boda Boda tour, and I really enjoyed it because of the nature, but also because we could drive it ourselves. Show you.
You be my man, and then I'll be your woman. I'm very willing, I'm ready to be your dad. You take me places I've never been.
And then we also went to the Crater Lakes, and that was also really nice because of the view.
I must confess.
And because of Ebola, we had to move from our university from Kampala to Kayunga. So we have been 1 month in Kampala, and then we had to move to Kayunga. And first we were like, we didn't like that idea because we really liked being in Kampala. We really enjoyed our stay there. But afterwards, I'm glad we also went to Kayunga because it was so different living in a local village and to have that experience as well as working in a hospital there. Now you're gonna see some city impressions from Kayunga, or last month. the Rolex was also something new for me, so it was really nice to taste it in Uganda. And then at the end, our last days, we we tried a lot of food in Uganda, and now we also want to thank our stay and the people of our stay with cooking for them. So we cooked something especially from Europe, spaghetti, and the people there didn't know it. So we wanted to show how it works, and so we cooked for them. Then we had to say goodbye at the end. That was really sad because we really liked the people of our stay. They were so nice to us. And then at the airport, we also had to say goodbye to each other. And that was really hard to say goodbye because we lived together for 2 months and then not anymore. But I can tell you that we're going to see each other back in September. So that's really nice. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so yes, go to Uganda if you get the chance. Because if you go to Uganda, you will have an enriching experience, both on a personal and a professional level. You will improve as a medical expert due to the experience you will have. You will improve as a communicator due to the differences in culture, and you will learn a lot. And also very important, you will find new friends and enjoy being there with them. So I would definitely do it again and recommend it to other students. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. That was refreshing, so entertaining. Hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. And the way you
Hello, Ketra. Ketra, we can't hear you very well. Your network isn't clear.
I hope you all enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation I gave.
I think
Okay.
the people in the comment section can just share on what they feel about it so far as we wait for Ketra to get her network. Hello, Ketra.
Okay, can I be heard from here now? Is
Yes.
it clear?
Yes.
Nyakuru, can you hear me?
Yes. Then I think, hello, Ketra.
Yes, can I be heard?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I was saying that was a very, very wonderful presentation from Amber. Really, thank you so much. Thank you for loving Uganda. Thank you for showing people how beautiful and amazing Uganda is and the different challenges that you also went through when you were here. We are really grateful, and I hope everyone really enjoyed it as much as I did, or more than I did, because I really had fun and I could actually redo it again and again. So right now, I'd like to open the chat. Is there anyone who wants to say something to Amber? You have a question for her before we move on to the next thing?
I think you can just move on to the next thing as people get some questions. There's someone who sent me a private message asking if it's for medical students. So yes, it is. So if you do a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, you're eligible for these exchanges. And someone else is asking what the time limit is. As of now, we only have 1 month exchanges that we can help you to organize. So I think, Ketra, you can start sharing your other presentation.
Oh, hello. It's me. Yes, this is Matthias from Makerere University. I would like to
Hello, Matthias. I don't, unless, could someone else comment maybe if they can hear Matthias? Because we can't hear you, although I can see that your mic was open.
Amber, would you love to answer that before I move on?
Sorry, I didn't hear it well. Can you ask again?
He was asking what really inspired you to select Uganda of all countries, because for him, he thinks Belgium has more resources and someone would maybe want to go to a better country or something.
Actually, the most important reason was because my university had a contract with the Makerere University. My university also have contracts with other countries, but I didn't want to go to South Africa because I really wanted to see how Uganda or Tanzania was. But yeah, I don't know. Tanzania because my father went a lot there, but that's why I maybe wanted to do Uganda more, also because of the beautiful nature and like that. So if I had to choose again, I really would choose Uganda again because I really like it.
Okay, thank you so much, Amber. I think he has got it. Yeah, so right now, Amber has shared a lot about Uganda, her experience in Uganda, and we're just going to crown it by adding on maybe what she missed out or what she didn't see as she moved this side. So I'm going to give a simple, very short profile about Uganda. Yeah, just as you saw Amber's first slide, even mine says the Pearl of Africa. That's what Uganda is. And it's the place we call home. You really feel at home when you come here, even for your first time, I promise you. Yeah, and when I'm to talk about the location of Uganda, Uganda is located in East Africa. We are a landlocked country. That means all sides, we have neighbors on all sides. We have Kenya in our east, we have Tanzania, we have Rwanda. Those are our neighbors. We have South Sudan, and we are all together in East Africa. So one thing I can assure you of, Uganda is filled with lots of very many beautiful sceneries that you can literally look at. We have a lot. we have the source of the Nile in Uganda. I believe most of us who did history have come across that. We have a number of lakes, rivers, mountains. We have Mountain Rwenzori, one of the highest and one of the most unique mountains in the world. Yes, we also do have a lot of wildlife. If you come to Uganda, make sure you pass via a zoo because you're going to enjoy the variety and the diversity in wildlife that the Lord had blessed us with. And then one other thing I can add on is that we also have the equator passing through Uganda. Yeah, so we have a number of tourists coming to see what is it, how do you know that it passes here? And it's really enjoyable to see people being very curious. So Uganda is located in a very beautiful place. These are pictures to show you just part of what I've been explaining. This one here is showing us the zoo, the zebras, the gorillas, there are monkeys, we have lions, we have snakes, we have a lot of different animals that you can find only with us. And then this other picture here, this is a medical student from Uganda that gone to visit. Here she's at the source of the Nile in Jinja. Yeah, it's a very nice place. You can't come to Uganda and live without being recommended to visit it. And this picture up here, these are medical students. Behind them, we can see hills. So you can do rock climbing. This is in some part of the eastern region of Uganda. So there are lots of things that you can see when you come to this country. Yeah, culture. Well, our culture is so diverse. Uganda is a country which has so many ethnic groups. And literally we have each group speaking a different tribe. Yes, there are norms we share, but then very many people have different beliefs. People do their things differently, though you're going to find a number of things that are going to cut across. Yeah, I can assure you, all the places I've been to in our country, people are hospitable, people value respect, people value things like responsibility, justice. Yeah, but almost every district you move to in Uganda, you're going to find a new language. So just as Amber said, the only thing that helps here is knowing English, because English is our national language, and at least a number of people know it, especially if you're moving around the urban places, in the central cities. Yeah. But then when you go to the rural areas, you might find a difficulty trying to understand, because you may speak to 5 different people and they all speak 5 different languages. Apart from that, it's really interesting and really nice. And also in our culture, we have kingdoms that some years back, before most of us were born, they had abolished kingdoms in this country, but then the current president, when he came into power, he brought back the kingdoms. And right now we have a number of them. We have Uganda Kingdom, we have Busoga Kingdom, we have Ankole. So the kingdoms combine people who share a certain type of culture, certain types of beliefs and norms that bring them together. Yeah, so some of the cultures that I can share with you. This is from the western region of Uganda. Yeah, people we call them Anyankole, the Ankoles, mostly dress like this. And this other second picture here, this is majorly from Uganda. Yeah, this is their king. They give him a lot of respect. Yeah, and then here you can have people from the eastern part of the region, the Bagisu. They also do the dancing in this format. This here cuts across the Bantu tribes, if you've heard about them here in Uganda. So the Basamia, the Baganda, the Basoga, they all dress up this way. This was in form of an introduction, but a lady is supposed to be in this, we call this attire a gomesi, and it's a cultural wear for the ladies, yeah. And the men put on kanzus. I think you can see it here. You can also see it in the second picture. Yeah, then if we come to the education system of Uganda, well, here in Uganda, we have primary 7 years, our neighbors in Kenya, I think, do it for 8. You do it for 7 years, and you spend 6 years in high school. Then you join university restrictions, the highly restricted areas, you have to perform very, very well to be admitted in a medical school. Yeah, in Uganda, we have 10 medical schools. We have KIU, we have MAST, we have MOOC. This is where I come from, Makerere University. We have KCU, Gulu, Soroti, Equizat, Busitema, IUI, and UCU. And I think we have a number of representatives from each of them here with us. Then our medical school in Uganda takes 5 years of learning. That's 2 years in preclinicals, year 1 and year 2. You're majorly doing biomedical sciences, most of the theory bit of it. But then when you join the year 3 to year 5, you go to ward. Yeah, you be a clinical student. You learn now from patients, and everything is more of now the practical bit of it. That's when we have a lot of ward rounds. Then after your 5 years, you graduate and you do 1 year of internship before you get a license to work for the Ministry of Health in Uganda. Yes. So just a short brief on life of a medical student in this country. Yeah, if you're a preclinical student, life is kind of fixed because you have to wake up in the morning. Lectures, most of them start at around 8, and we have blended learning. We have online, we have physical. So you may find that this time around you have to register and be there. We use Zoom a lot, or you could find that you're having physical lectures, practicals, and you have to move to college. So it becomes a little bit hectic. But when you're in a clinical years, every morning you wake up, you have to go to ward in the specific rotation you're allocated to. And then you learn from the patients, you work there, you help the supervisors come and check on you and also assess you during your time in the ward rotations. Yeah, so to really succeed in medical school, you need to put in a lot. It's not that easy, but then if you put in the effort and hard work, a lot of things will work. You need to know a lot of networking, work with your friends, discuss in groups. That's what helps us a lot here in Uganda Medical School. Yeah, but apart from the academic side of you, medical school is really nice because we have a lot of activities away from the books, away from the ward. Yeah, we have people going for camps, medical camps. We have people going for trips. We have people going for exchanges, like we are promoting exchange here. We have a number of students from the different universities in Uganda who have gone to Tanzania for an exchange. Yeah, so this is just a picture to show us. The first picture shows you medical students here that gone for a camp, but then had to visit some nice tourist attractions. Here we were around our university community trying to help out on the people there. This was also in a medical camp. Here we were in a sports gala, and this was an event that was combining all universities in Uganda. So we get time in the year and we combine as all universities in Uganda that have medical students, and we come together and share a lot. Yeah, and other things you should know about us. Yeah, Uganda, we are very welcoming people. People here are very hospitable, very friendly, very, entertaining to be with, fun. Yeah, I always say that wherever we go, we'd love to sit near Ugandans because you'd never be bored around them. Yeah, and then the other thing, well, we have food. I think the best food there ever is. Fresh fruits, vegetables, Rolex. I think you saw this in Amber's presentation. One of the things made best by Uganda. Yeah, and the weather is also really nice. So this is just to show you, this is the Rolex that we're talking about. This is matoke, one of the local foods that we have. Yeah, these are still medical students touring certain sites in the country. Here, still medical students having fun outside the academics. Yeah, so lastly, if you think of any place to really visit, if you want to do an exchange, you're from West Africa, you're from South Africa, you're from whichever country you're from, I would recommend Uganda because I think we have all it takes to welcome you here, to be with you, for you to enjoy, and really can't wait to have you. These pictures are pictures of medical students from Uganda. I think we can all see the smiles. They're all ready to welcome anyone who comes to be with them. Yeah, so this ends my simple presentation about Uganda. If you have any question, you can send them in the chat. And here we say Tubagalanyo. This is one of the local languages in Uganda, and it really means we love you so much. Hope you got something from this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ketra. That was a very lovely presentation. Thank you for helping us to hear the warmth and the love that Uganda has for its neighbors and people who want to come for exchange, and it's a great opportunity to learn. So I haven't seen any questions yet. I just want to thank the participants for having stuck out this long and having such an honest interest in Uganda and what it's about, and even maybe prospecting for their own exchange there. Ketra, there's a question for you, and then we're going to close up this webinar within the next 5 minutes.
A question from Alex. He's asking how expensive is food. Basically, a single meal would go for how much in US dollars? Our food is really cheap. I think you can get a very good satisfying meal at only $1 US here in Uganda.
I completely agree. I haven't been for exchange in the sense I went for a medical elective, but I went for the Africa regional meeting that was held 2 years ago, and I can really attest to them being very welcoming and it also being very affordable for exchange. Well, as a Kenyan.
Yeah, thank you so much. If there are no other questions, I think that ends our presentation. And just to thank everyone who has been with us throughout this.
Maybe you can still share about the opportunities that we have with the other presentation via FAMSA, and even just remind people of the other options for exchange.
Okay, let me do that, and then we come to the closure of the meeting. Okay, so welcome. I'm going to share this to help us know more about FAMSA SCOPE and the opportunities that we have for professional exchange. So about FAMSA and SCOPE, FAMSA is Federation of African Medical Students Association. Yeah, it's an independent and political federation. It brings together all medical students associations in Africa as an initiative to foster the spirit of friendship and cooperation among African medical students. So if you're very good, you shouldn't leave this session without at least knowing someone new from a different country or a different medical school. And SCOPE is Standing Committee on Professional Exchange. And it is really, our tasks are majorly to draw up detailed programs for the health educative school that covers elective postings, study tours, information exchange activities, conferences, social-cultural programs, among others. So our objectives majorly: representation of all medical school associations in professional exchange, facilitate inter-African exchanges, to broaden our medical school education through informative workshops and conferences. We also carry out health initiatives and workshops that contribute to the health promotion in our communities. And one most important, we collaborate with other medical student associations and organizations worldwide to avail more opportunities for African medical students. So we have a number of opportunities. Some of them I'm going to read them out. They may not be shown on this slide. But then we have virtual inter-African exchanges. We can have regional meetups. I believe is one we're trying to organize for East Africa. We can have physical exchange opportunities. For us in Uganda, I think we've had such an example where we're having Ugandan students are going to Tanzania for an exchange. So we can organize such physical exchanges as SCOPE. Yes, then we can also have academic series. We also have things to do with community outreaches, physical community outreach that will be selected by the different local medical student associations, and you go out to help the community. We have upskilling, that's capacity building sessions that are always online. Yeah, and we always share the link, so whoever is interested can join. We have also FAMSA Asia, that's FAMSA, exchange opportunities. They're always virtual and anyone is invited to take part. Yeah, then FAMSA is also in
Just
partnership.
a moment, just go back to that slide.
Yes.
So other than that, all I'd just like to give a highlight of is that earlier this year we had mental health meetups. We've been running this webinar series on just trying to give people information about the different East Africa countries, and people have shared from Rwanda, an exchange from Tanzania, an exchange from Ethiopia, from Kenya, and we've recorded all of them except the one for Tanzania, and they're actually posted on the FAMSA YouTube page. We're just working on putting it together on a playlist. So yeah, you've registered for this webinar, so you'll be able to share that information with you so that you can always have these things at your disposal. And yeah, we also had an academic series that people are just learning about West and North Africa, South and Central Africa. There was, yeah, it's just good to stay tuned. So I'm going to share the link tree for FAMSA SCOPE. So it's linktree/FAMSA.SCOPE. You can stay tuned to the activities there. And then, as she's already said, later on in the year, we just plan to do the virtual exchanges with AMSA, which is the Asia Medical Students Association, and hopefully have some physical regional meetings such as workshops and trainings. So thank you for coming and for listening. And you can go to the next slide. You can go to the next slide, Ketra. Okay. So this slide is supposed to have the FMSA and ISEC. We just like to always highlight the work of these organizations in terms of the exchange that they do. So if you didn't know about them, now you know, because they also organize exchanges around the world, let alone also the ones we have here in Africa. You can go to the next slide. So yeah, so yeah, you can finish us off, Ketra. Thank you. I think Ketra is having a challenge maybe with her mic, but this is just a FAMSA team. That's Ketra, the National Officer for Uganda. And this is Wendy, who's the chair for SCOPE. You can go to the next one. Here are all the other national officers that we have in the different countries, and even myself there. And then next. Yeah, the one where she's circled. Yeah, thank you very much for listening, and we wish you a good evening. It was a pleasant 50 minutes with you, and feel free to log off, leave a comment, leave some feedback, some love even for Amber, who this whole webinar would not be possible without. Thank you so much for telling us about your experience in Uganda, Amber, and I'm sure this will really empower a lot of other students, especially from Africa, to just see the beauty in the continent. And we are really humbled that you saw so much beauty and experienced a lot, and even just had insight and curiosity all the way from Belgium.
I did it with pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Have a blessed night.
Yeah, and thank you for hosting us, Ketra, and for organizing this wonderful webinar. Thank you, Blessing. We love to see love from West Africa to East Africa. And we welcome you with open hearts. All right, I'll close this within the next 15 seconds. Good night, everyone.
Oh, wait a second. Someone asked to share the link, and I will do it. Then they can copy it.
Oh, sure. Feel free.
But it takes a while. Sorry. It's the video one of the 5 of us made, so it's from our trips mostly and not from our experience in the hospital. But if you still have questions from my experience in the hospital or from the city itself, you can also text me if you want. My number is in the chat as well. And this is the link of the video.
Thank you so much for that, Amber.
You're welcome.
I'm still waiting to see it in the comments. Oh, I see. You responded to that message specifically.
Yes.
Okay.